Hello everyone and welcome to Cappuccino with HR. My name is Rudi Bauer, and after 40 years in business, I'm 100% sure that the success of companies is directly related to the passion of the people working for these companies. With the Cappuccino of HR, we created a format where we really invite people, it's HR leaders, it's recruiters, it's talent acquisition guys, and we're talking about all the different kind of topics, and the range is going from AI, of course, to new work, to leadership, and all the challenges along the way.
Yeah, hello and welcome to a new episode of Cappuccino with HR. And today I'm totally delighted to have Ute with us. Ute Neher, we know each other for quite some time, and I think at every conference where we meet, I think it's always a kind of a deep hugging and deep friendly atmosphere. So I'm really delighted to have you at Cappuccino with HR. Ute, probably could we start with introduce? I mean, honestly, I'm 100% sure that there's anyhow nobody out there who doesn't know you, because you're really well known in the HR ecosystem. So I think everybody, if I mention your name, everyone says, Ute, yeah, of course, I met her last week or 2 weeks ago or a month ago. But for the 5 people out there probably not knowing you, may I ask you to introduce yourself in a few sentences?
For sure. First of all, Rudi, it's my pleasure to be part of Cappuccino with HR. So, because I know that you really create something special for everyone who is in HR to understand the IT community even better. And this is when I think of a person that I value most for this kind of activities, you are the first person coming into my mind. So maybe the same thing applies for you as for me, that a lot of people already know us, but maybe most of the people still think about I'm working for an employer called Deutsche Telekom, but this is not the truth anymore. So I'm Ute. I'm a principal talent intelligence at Indeed. And, you know, job titles are something I would say I rather like a talent partner. So I work with companies to help them make better, more informed hiring decisions by connecting global insights with local realities. And but this is not all, right? Doing a right informed decision. My focus is on inclusion, on potential, and on future readiness, because I really believe we are not facing a talent shortage. We are facing a connection gap, and I'm here to help to close it.
I think that's we're discussing that in a second, and I think there's a kind of a really cool exchange of ideas and thoughts. As the format is called Cappuccino with HR, I need to ask this question. Ute, what's your favorite coffee?
First of all, I hate cappuccino because I don't drink milk, and I. But a cappuccino with you, it's a perfect opportunity on a Monday. Now, my favorite coffee is a black coffee, no milk, no sugar. Just like our conversation, maybe. Bold, clear, and without a fluff.
Very cool, very cool. Thanks for that. And let's jump into the first question. And I mean, the first question is more kind of a general one. As the HR environment, or as recruiting or hiring feels more complex than ever today, what do you think what has changed? I mean, you're in the business for quite some years now. What do you think has changed over the last couple of years from your point of view?
You know, they not only feel this is harder, it is harder, right? So we have less people available. We are not really good with our integration and immigration policies to really have a good welcome culture. And this is why in a lot of countries, 48%, I think, of employers say they struggle to find the right quality of candidates. And on the other side, and this is for me, the real mismatch, also 45% of the job seekers says this is hard to get hired. So we have on the one hand side, the employers saying, oh, it's really hard to find the right quality. The other side is, oh, it's really hard to get hired. So that means we don't have an issue of a lack of a talent. It's really a mismatch. So of expectation and processes. So employers always searching for the quick fit, right? You need to be ready tomorrow. If you are not ready tomorrow, you are not the right person for me. Job seekers want an environment where they get a purpose, where they can grow. So smarter hiring means for me in this case about, aligning these two elements and understand investment in talent is a good investment in talent. And there is not such a big community out there anymore where you can hire just for the perfect unicorn fit.
Mm. Does that mean that we have to probably think about the definition of what means quality to both sides? Because, I mean, what you explained was a kind of a mismatch in understanding of companies out there and employees out there, that they have total different kind of relatives or expectations.
I think we have to come closer what really quality means, right? Quality from an employer perspective is you are ready to work now.
Mm.
And, honestly, who is ready to work now directly in this really changing world? So it's not only that we have less people available out there, it's also we have at the moment a tremendous change of how we work, how we will work in the future. Skills, they was for 10 years ago, the most wanted one are not now anymore the most wanted one. So it is this kind of readiness to move also to another angle. And the same applies also for the job seekers, right? If they look to a job description and say, oh no, I can't do this, and read any word by this word, what it really means, and don't look at transferable skills or something else, they also will not be a fit. So we have to work on this alignment, what really means quality, and go closer to that one. Because in the end, I think both sides know qualities has a kind of relevant experience in skills that matter for this job because you want to be successful. But, it means also capability and adaptability and potential of growth for both sides. And this is something what we need to define and come closer and instead of just looking to a degree.
Mm. I mean, that brings me to a really favorite topic of mine, because I think that's probably, from my point of view, core of the problem is that companies still are suffering not having a people strategy in a way that we need to kind of know what kind of skills do we need in the future. I mean, we are talking about, there's a new buzzword. I mean, it's skills-based hiring. Yeah, everybody's talking about this at the moment. But doesn't it mean that you probably need to have an idea what kind of skills you will probably need in the near future and in the longer run future? And honestly, I'm quite sure if I bet my house and go out and ask 20 companies about this kind of topic, I will get a lot of question marks and no answers.
This can be, we was doing a report about skill first hiring and we got a kind of different mixtures of results. Sometimes also quite surprising that they said, we do this already, but if you then ask them what you are doing in this kind of area, there was then rather less visible activities. So I agree on that. Just using a new buzzword doesn't help us, right? It starts not only with skill first hiring, it starts with a skill management and skill perspective approach. And this comes with a people strategy, but it also comes with the reality that we need to face a season where we understand also in our strategy that not everything can be carved in stone for the next upcoming 5 years, because we don't know how fast we will develop, how fast the skills are changing, how this technology disruption will change also our way we are working. So that means flexibility in understanding we need to look for people they are, or they have the opportunity to adapt and get trained and adapt their skills. It's now really something in need to create a kind of flexibility in our moving house. So, and, do I believe that the company's already there yet? No. Do I know that there are some companies outside, they have even also a future lab and thinking about how this jobs looks like in the future? Definitely. But then comes another question, which kind of skills we really need to store in our library in the future? All skills of the people, what kind of skills are important, who is assessing the skills, who is testing the skills, and so on and so on. So just using a buzzword like skill first hiring doesn't solve a problem. But I think we need to go on this way to shift from here's the job title, here's the university that you was, here is the area that you have, towards an angle of the people perspective.
Mhm. But if we look into it, I mean, we know from our studies we're doing a big survey, especially for developers. We're asking developers every year out there in Europe what's important for them. And there was really a shift in the last couple of years, and it started probably in 2019 when we did the first bigger one survey-wise. We found then it was brand and it was money, and this has really changed now to, I think people are really interested in building their career within a company as a partner where they can really evolve, develop, and get the kind of a future path. And this is not the traditional career, which is kind of I'm becoming the manager or team lead or manager or director. It's more the personal kind of development, because as more we work in digital businesses, I think as less we see our daily work really. So I think purpose and the meaningfulness of work is becoming more and more important. Are companies good enough in showing that within the recruiting procedure and the process?
Hmm. Good question. Good question. Because honestly, I believe we still live in old processes, right? And our old processes are not a system what really supports this kind of needs and this kind of insights that they want to get. So we still like to show on our jobs templates, right? We are a good company. Yes. Such a long abstract about how good we are. And then might be what we really want to see from them. And then we ask what they have to bring instead of showing them really what is in for you. Showcasing what is in for talent development. You know, the most underrated benefit is these talent development opportunities to growth. It's not just the purpose, it's this opportunity to growth. And opportunity to growth doesn't mean to be a manager. Opportunity to growth means working on the next big thing. Can be, if they want to be a manager for people to guide new folks into new areas. But it can be also working with new technology, working on the newest projects and so on. And also getting a clear pathway of how development looks like. Do I have enough time for that? In the past, it was like, okay, training on the job, maybe some seminars and nothing else. Nowadays, we should ask, how is learning integrated in our daily work life and how we make this visible also to our future prospects, to the candidates that we really want to attract. Because one thing is clear, in this changing world, upskilling will be a thing what is every day needed, because my skills would not be the same as 1 year ago, right? So, and that applies for nearly everyone.
Yeah, that's for sure. That definitely. And I mean, but then I think we need to say goodbye to the one fits all approach, because from my point of view, I mean, hiring or recruiting processes, the companies tend to continuously see it as a kind of we have found a new approach, we're rolling out this approach now, but it has to fit to all the candidates out there. Because what you described, I mean, that has to do with a huge level of individualization, because I mean, building my career, having something for me which I can work the direction I can work to, I think is extremely individual. It means totally different things for you, it means totally different things for me, and it probably means totally different things for others as well. How could you handle that as a company? Because then I think you have to really go into deep details, and you have to really go down on the, and then with down, I don't mean down in the way of down, but you have really to come to the human level, because then I think you're not dealing with benefits and fruit baskets and this kind of stuff. I mean, you really have to take people as individuals and talk to them, communicate with them, find out what's important for them. And I think that's a big challenge as well.
It is, it is this kind of understanding that we have to change the system, the processes, and the tools. Because they are not a fit and they are on old signals, right? And we have to rethink the job ads. We have to rethink how we do assessment and screening. Because if our ATS has this old screening methodology still in, they will screen everyone out, not everyone in. So it's now time to bridge, I would say, what a gap between what we say, what we value, and how we actually hire. If I then look to the result that we got from our questionnaire, that employers and job seekers said, oh, what should be value? What are the transferable skills or elements they should be really integrate in our hiring process? They both said is like learning quickly, agreed. The critical thinking, absolutely. And working with others. Okay, agreed. Working with others, maybe in the future, working with my AI agent or a technology could be even an additional step forward already, right? If we see how blended this comes nowadays. So it's then the years of experience, less the degrees, less everything else. But if you then look to the reality, what employer says, and they said, we do skill first hiring and we fully focused on that one, but only 40% have then removed their degree requirements. Or say it's not important. That means good that you say it, but still you have this old mindset, and is a quick fix from a process and tech perspective, right? Your ATS should screen. Do you have this bachelor with this and this? Yes or no? No? Okay, out. But we both also know that a university degree, for example, in the developer area doesn't mean anything. It can be a good foundation, but it doesn't mean this is the right perfect candidate.
Yeah.
So this is the wrong thing. But then we are talking about process and tools. What is about the mindset of a hiring manager? Mm-hmm. This quick fix. Oh, they was coming from my old university. They must be good. Still in mind, right? Oh, they come from this company or have this title. Oh, they must be good. No. So how we can change this mindset to build also the trust towards job seekers, because we can say to them, we are well, you, but in the end, we screen them out. Mm-hmm. So that means we have to look at this. And then it comes with this nice thing of onboarding, training, making them ready for the job, giving the best starting position. Also there, we see a bit this much. And I think I would find even more topics what is more disconnected and so on. But in the end, it's about rethinking your process, your systems, your tools, but also more importantly, your own mindset. And if you are ready to welcome different and diverse groups to your workforce. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in the end, yes, it is more individualized what we are doing than maybe during the hiring steps. Mm-hmm. And we miss some efficiency gains. But on the other side, we really maybe turn some efficiency gains on, because then we are faster, because we are not searching for the one and only unicorn outside in the market. We have more diverse workforce and so on. So there is always, both sides what you need to have.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you said. I mean, I think this could be a headline for HR, is how could we screen them in? I love this approach, because I mean, honestly, I think what we right now do, and I really had my personal experiences with that a couple of years ago. That I mean, I definitely knew that it was sorted out because of my birth date, or the age, and I mean, there was a filter running, and Do you see there's a danger with using more AI that this happens more often, or is it the opposite?
It's based on how AI is trained, right? And how we're using this AI. What I hate is this kind of perspective, and I really say hating that now everyone is saying technology is the rising star and will help us to be more fair and equitable. Honestly, if the technology is based on not good data, I'm not just saying, not good data, I'm not saying it more bolder. So the data is the foundation. Is the data on old systems, on old data, it will nothing change. If the data has the implicit, okay, we hired in the past only people between 25 and 34, it will again do the same thing, right? So it's about how we use and train our AI partner. And in the end, for me, the decision should be always made by a human. And we see this in our own data as well on Indeed side. The best hiring decision and the best informed hiring decision is with both sides, with a human and an AI perspective. An AI, in this case, on transferable skills. They might be not sound like the same thing, but could be a matching thing. This is something where an AI could help us because we are just humans. Our brains are working like as smart as possible because they got so many data. Why we should know all the time, oh, this skill has these transferable skills behind that. Do I really know we know this all the time? Do I really don't do a mistake? I'm a human. I do a mistake every minute, maybe. And this is why this matching, this AI opportunity can help us. But this means also to shift towards this perspective, how we can train our data and our requirements in this direction, that we rather filter people in or screen them in instead screening them out first. And then it's really about fairness. In the US, we have a term that I really like. We are searching for stars.
Mhm.
Love it. And stars means skilled through alternative routes.
Mhm. Cool one.
And having this in mind, I'm
Yeah.
searching for my new star,
Yeah.
but having in mind skills through alternative routes that really shift also my thought processes, how I screen, how I use traditional filters.
Mhm.
And then we go to a more equitable, but also more inclusive pathway from my perspective.
Mhm. How could people in HR use that? I mean, if you start, I mean, it sounds great, but what is then the important first step if you start looking for your next star? How do you bring that in practice? Because I mean, it sounds great, and it is definitely it is, but if you've never done it before, it's probably hard to bring the switch into the new position, because we're all driven by mindsets, we're all controlled by our behaviors. But how could you switch probably to that new approach? What do you think is the most important thing if you want to look for your new star?
First of all, you need to know what you really need for your job, and not for the job what was created 5 years ago and might be this job title and these requirements in the past. You need to review what is happening right now. And then you have to search also for some insights, how it will change, how our business will change, and also what means this job to be future ready. And then list the skills that you are really need, not which skills they would have by probably having everything in their own, just going by skill and have a look onto it. What kind of skills are trainable and which are skills that definitely needs to be there as a ground foundation. So because I also don't want to say a star hiring means just, hire for attitude, because this is also not the right perspective. This is not the right thing. But if you start with this one, then you have a foundation. What is really a job look like? And you also can, look for different kind of skills, and then use technology or use data from, different kind of, or for other vendors as well. If you don't have your own data, which skills are connected to that, and make sure that you understand. And I mean by that, doing the best informed decision, right? To understand who's might be out there in the market that I have overlooked in the past because they was working in a different kind of industry or something like this, and make yourself aware of what is available outside also from this kind of perspective. And why I really said it out loud is I think we have to work also on our own mindset first as recruiters before we want to teach our hiring manager and everyone else around us to do so. So if we have a better understanding what skills really means, what skills are transferable, what is the skill foundation and what we are looking for, we got this start appealing, and then just start, please, instead of just waiting for the best results. And if someone comes and asks why I should do so, because it creates better value for you all. It get a better ROI, it's get a better quality of candidates because you got a variety of them.
What does it mean from the perspective of being brave as HR? Because I think it needs some braveness to go new paths and try out new things. And what does it mean also in the aspect of reaching out to I always call them hidden talents, because I mean there's some kind of, especially in the developer environment, we see that, and you mentioned it already some minutes ago. I think most of the developers that I know, they're really good ones, and the people are on our stages and talking about their experience and sharing their insights and thoughts on our stages. A lot of them are not coming from traditional career paths. I mean, they are autodidacts. They learned themselves how to program because they were into it. They were really passionate about learning it for themselves, but it's not a university degree that brought them there. It's more having fun with it and loving it. So, but then I think on normal routines would definitely filter them out or screen them out immediately. What does that mean in the aspect of trying out new user groups, trying out new forums, new platforms, and probably also going into the land of hidden talents?
Yeah, I always call them untapped talents. And I really mean this by heart. The talent is, is universal. Opportunity is not. And opportunity is not really means we screen them out. They was not coming into our mindset. They are not a fit for a hiring manager. This is why they are then C candidates and so on. And it's now we know what will happen, right? We have less people available. The talent shortage is there. People are screaming that we need too much time to find the right talents. So then go for pilots, go for tasks, do a brave and bold decision and go for it. But this means if you go for it, and this is not a 100% fixed candidate, meaning brings everything already, create an onboarding and training platform where they really can grow by themselves. And all these kind of people that you described are always passionate people about learning, about developing themselves. They are curious. They want to do this. So if we combine this with this kind of perspective, I think this is one step. And the other thing is, maybe, Rudi, we also should say if someone didn't want to change his mindset anymore, he might be not the right person to work in HR.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's for sure.
And also not being a recruiter. A recruiter means you are a people focused person that helps a company to find the right talent to the right time, but also help on the other side job seekers to find the next best opportunity. Together we change lives. Together we create societies around us because, employers are part of a society, and earning enough money means also you can be part of an active society. So we create our own society.
That's for sure.
And which kind of society do we want? A gray and white one, or do we want a colorful one?
Yeah.
And with this, we have to rethink this one. And honestly, this new technology opportunities right now gives us so much more.
Yeah.
I would say entry opportunities as we had in the past. that I would say it's now really time to rethink what is the skills that you really needed to be successful on this job.
Mm. Yep. That's I think that could be already a closing word, but I have one thing which I want to ask. I mean, I was looking on the watch. I think that the 30 minutes are passed by extremely quick. But as you were mentioning it, and I was mentioning it as well, we're having a kind of a talent shortage, and I think it will become worse in the next 10 to 15 years, definitely. And with all that kind of immigration policies that's going on in Europe, with closing the borders, not really being open for letting people in, I think retention will become extremely important for companies, because I think when I was working for Stepstone, we had a study, and there was a study saying that 2/3 of the people we are looking for throughout the year, the reason for that is because somebody has left us. So 1/3 is probably growth, and 1/3 is probably new business, and 2/3 are still a kind of, we're losing people and we have to replace them in a way. If we take this kind of skill-based approach, if we take this kind of helping our employees to really build their future within the organization, to get ready for the next steps, being passionate, being curious, being supported, does that pay in on retention?
Oh, absolutely. You have described right now a retention strategy, right? And honestly, retention, as well as work well-being, should be the core of a people strategy. How we have to create our workplaces that really thrive people to work. And therefore work well-being is really, an opportunity to have a look into it. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean a yoga mat and just mental well-being. It means really the whole structure around how we show up to work, from a trust factor, from an inclusion factor, from a leadership factor, and so on and so on. It's a whole environment behind this. This is the work well-being activities, and then the retention piece for sure is the overarching strategy, right? And retention means you create a workplace where people feel valued and seen. Retention means you create a workplace where people can grow. And retention means you create a workplace and a work environment where all of them see the value, what they are doing, and the purpose behind it. So if we focus on which skills I have, what I bring to work, how I can create the best value with my skills for the future of this company, and being also able to rework on my skills to be also seen in the future as ready, this is for me part of a retention strategy. And this is why also for me, skill-based hiring is nothing what is an island. Skill-based hiring is part of an overarching skilling and people strategy. It means a fundamental shift for us in how we approach our processes, systems, and tools. But in the end, we are still talking about a people strategy that helps to have a sustainable company on the side, because this is something what we need to achieve together, right? A sustainable company story and growth.
Ute, I couldn't have found a better closing word. So thank you very much for your time. It was really a pleasure having you with me. I hope the audience enjoys this episode as much as I did during the recording. And for all the people that want to listen to us, I think I can announce it. Ute will be with us at the Tech Leaders Summit in July, from the 9th to 11th in Berlin at our WeAreDevelopers World Congress. So we expect 15,000 plus developers to come there, 500 speakers, and approximately 1,500 people from the HR ecosystem, so HR family. So I think it's in the meantime, it really became a really big HR event as well. And I'm really looking forward to have you with us there. So thank you very much, Ute, and thank you very much, audience out there, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Cappuccino with HR. If you enjoy this kind of conversations, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Then you get all this kind of upfront information, your upcoming episodes, and all my nice guests. Cappuccino with HR is brought to you by WeAreDevelopers, Europe's #1 developer community and a leading platform for connecting HR and companies together with developers. If you want to learn more, visit us on WeAreDevelopers.com. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time on Cappuccino with HR.